I have been considering making this exact video for weeks, but after it became so widely covered, I felt pretty deterred from doing so. But after some recent events and Nina Lim's so-called apology, I felt like I should just make it anyway. For those unaware, Twitch streamer Nina Lim came under heat over a situation involving Silky's assistant and also streamer Saeed. And this situation involves a few clips. The main one is one where Zoe Spencer is twerking on Saeed and Nina Lim is kind of holding him and trying to force him to do it. First of all, I want to say I hate that this got swept under the rug when it initially happened. I remember the day that it happened, I opened Twitter, saw the clip, and then quickly saw Saeed's tweet about how much it was affecting him right after. Saeed went on to later delete his tweets for whatever personal reasons he had, but some others spoke up for him at the time, yet nothing happened and this just kind of blew over. And the reason this situation even resurfaced again is almost solely due to a streamer named Young Base Go, otherwise known as YBG. Now, YBG is part of a content group called OSCS and is friends with FaZe Jason the Ween. Now, for some background information, YBG ended up beefing with Nina after he called out some of her weird behaviors and weird clips. They continued to go back and forth a couple times, and then it escalated to the point where he actually brought up the Saeed situation. Now, this beef and the resurfacing of the situation all happened in this October 2025. However, it initially occurred in 2024. Now, this is very important to note because not only does he now have a larger following, he also brought this situation up during FaZe's subathon. So now not only is he bringing it up in front of new fans, but he's bringing it up in front of tens of thousands of more people who were not aware of the situation in the first place. And because of this, a lot of other large streamers caught wind of the situation and the snowball really just started growing from there. When you have the likes of XQC and Asmongold's hundreds of thousands of viewers now being aware of a lesser known incident, these things just spread like wildfire. Asmongold has a massive following and a die-hard fan base. And upon seeing this clip, he said Twitch needs to stop just straight up ignoring assault on their platform, and also calls for the ban of Nina Lim and Zoe Spencer, going as far to say that he will even talk to some Twitch staff about it.
Maybe I should tell somebody that works at Twitch about this in order to make sure that honestly, to make them legally liable.
Now, Asmongold doesn't even stream on Twitch. He streams over on Kick, and some would argue that that would make what he's saying less valuable. However, I actually think it is important that he is someone with a big following on a rival streaming platform calling out Twitch. Now, after actively avoiding talking about the situation for almost a year now, all of the new attention kind of forced her hand to confront the situation, and she handled it honestly extremely poorly, which is almost the entire reason I'm making this video. And the first thing I saw of her actually talking about this situation was when she was approached at a party by fellow streamer Your Rage. Your Rage brings up the situation and what she's doing about it, and I kid you not, I cannot make this up. She opens this clip by saying,
"So the whole Saeed thing, no one essay Saeed."
What? That is not on you to decide. Then she goes on to say, as a grown man, it is embarrassing to be called that. Now, what she means by that, I'm assuming a victim. Now, if it was quote unquote so embarrassing for him, why would he tweet multiple times publicly about how it affected him? Why would he go under post on Twitter talking about the situation and trying to bring more light to it? Why would he go out of his way to bring more attention to it? Now, Lena later decided to bring this situation up again and talk about it, but she did so while sitting at a nail salon getting her nails done. I'm sorry, but at least Zoe Spencer, who was the other woman involved in the situation, at least decided to sit down in front of the camera by herself and give a decent apology and kind of own up to her actions. It is really appalling to me that you cannot find the time in your day to just sit down alone and do the same thing. It's not a massive deal, but it is very telling of her professionalism. Not to laugh at the situation, but even Logan Paul put in more work to his apologies. You didn't drop not even a fake tear or nothing. This is just low level. Anyway, the thing I hate the most about this so-called apology is the fact that she says,
"I'm old enough to own up to what I did wrong." And during the situation, I genuinely 100% thought it was a joke. I just thought he was laughing, so I'm we all just laughing and geeking, but yeah, I see. It is wrong. It is really.
He was laughing, so I thought it was all good and we were just having a good time. Now, honestly, this is probably one of the dumbest things I have ever heard in my life. First of all, I can't believe you as a person have never seen or heard of the idea of someone laughing in a serious or uncomfortable situation. I would even go as far to say that it is pretty common. And honestly, that statement alone outweighed this weak apology that she decided to give. But then she keeps going on and on about how it was just a joke and it was just for the stream's content, and that only in hindsight was she able to tell that Saeed was clearly uncomfortable. Like, did you not get the memo when Silky was saying, you can't do that, he didn't consent, and the fact that he was legitimately running from you the entire time you were there?
No, he's not consenting.
Yes, he is.
He's not even saying nothing.
He likes it.
Also, I'm no massive creator, but if your idea of peak content is pretty much throwing it back on somebody, you have lost your mind. There is no way that quote-unquote joke was that important to you. Which is hilariously ironic after the situation where Ash Alk, another streamer, was offered money to toss Nina's food for a joke. But after he did this, she flipped the entire table and just made a mess in the middle of a mall.
We should probably just take this to go. We just take it to go. It's getting late, you know what I'm saying? I need my 100. I need my 100 right now. Holy shit. I'm sorry. Look. I was forced. I have to do this. What the fuck are you going to do?
And later, she explained that she actually cut him off over this clip because doing things like that for content is stupid and immature. So you're willing to cut somebody off for making you mad or uncomfortable just for the sake of content. This is pretty ironic. Half of the industry should have probably cut you off by now. And it doesn't even stop there. I left out another reason why I even made this video. And it's because another large content creator, Disguised Toast, has stepped out and expressed that she also made him uncomfortable during a large live streamed event, the Streamer Games. In this clip, Toast laid face down on a massage table wanting an actual massage from a professional. I mean, he's like 30, so this is pretty understandable. But thankfully, Nina Lynn was in there to save the day. Now, honestly, this could have been funny if she just stopped at chopping his back after like 3 seconds. But of course, she had to go and grip this man's butt cheeks. Like, come on, bro. He is 33 years old. You're what, 25? Not everybody is a clip farmer. Not everybody wants to be involved with your weirdo activities. Like, holy man. Please learn to keep your hands to yourself. Now, Toast stated that he was uncomfortable during this, but he didn't want to escalate the situation at a massive sponsored event and also having 3 IRL streamer cameras on him. Which honestly, this is very in line with the overall hate that IRL streamers get. The fact that you're live on air just makes some of these streamers feel way more comfortable doing things that they shouldn't for content. Also, it makes victims feel like they're pressured to not escalate and like start drama live. And honestly, this is where I want to address Twitch and the internet in general. Anyway, I want to get back on track by saying, how is it that this situation happens and it takes an extreme amount of people not just calling out Nina specifically, but also Twitch in general for not having her face any consequence? I mean, you have 2 women literally chasing this guy down, putting him on the bed, like trying to rip his clothes off, dancing on him, all this other nonsense. While Silky is in the back saying he didn't consent, and then she's saying that he didn't tell you that. What? Did he tell you he consented? What is happening? And while they're doing this, they're just saying he likes it. This is what he wants. If the roles were actually reversed and they were men, I would imagine they'd be blackballed and permanently banned on Twitch immediately. But I'm also really confused about why other streamers that even knew about the situation decided to still hang around her after it. Like, I could see a world where maybe they still hang around her because Saeed hasn't spoken up or hasn't talked about the situation in general, but he has multiple times. So that doesn't really make sense to me. If that's my man's and this happens, I'm not touching you with a 10-foot pole until you come out and really apologize for it. And even after that, I probably wouldn't. But I get it though. It's LA. LA is very different and it is weird, which I understand why YBG stays out of it and stays in his hometown. I probably would do the same thing. But let's not act like she didn't face any consequences. You know what she got after all of this? She got an entire 1-day ban. Now, so did Zoe Spencer, but this video is focused on Nina Lim because she is obviously a repeat offender. And Zoe Spencer did have a lot of controversy herself, but a lot of that mainly dealt with her personality and her persona online in general, so I'm not getting into that. And this ban was obviously entirely performative from Twitch. They really just did it to say they did something, which is fair enough and makes sense considering they're already god-awful PR run from other recent events. Anyway, like I said, I want to address the internet. Now, I'm not even going to get into the whole Twitter idea that Saeed should have just enjoyed it, because this is something just based on toxic masculinity in general. Because this gets amplified by the anonymity of like being online, I feel like it's worth touching on but not diving fully into. Mainly because I've seen replies like this saying, unless Toast addresses this as SA, it is not. Like, what? This is legitimately one of the main reasons that a lot of women don't even speak up about their own assault. I have heard firsthand how they just don't want to get it downplayed by their peers, or that their thoughts about the situations just weren't going to be justified. It is very crazy that we always say believe victims until the victim doesn't exactly fit the image that people expect, but you can't just pick and choose when you care about consent. Anyway, I'm running out of time here, and I honestly don't have too much else to say. And listen, any of my upcoming streamers, if you make a mistake, if you make someone feel uncomfortable or sad or whatever, take accountability as soon as possible and actually hear out what people have to say about it. Don't just immediately try to justify your mistake because people are not going to be seeing it through your perspective. Anyway, like, sub, peep my Twitch, and I'll see you in the next one.